Hey, everybody, welcome to Lords of the Night. With me, as always, your Lord of Punishment. Say hi, Scribe.
Hi, Scribe.
And your Lord of Pennies. Say hi, Satsu.
Hi, Satsu.
And I'm your Lord of Pain, the Ranting Monkey. And how are you guys tonight? How you doing? Let's start with Satsu.
I am pretty good, actually, all things considered.
Really
Scribbles, how you
quiet.
doing?
Satsu, do you have your microphone turned down or something?
Did you move it back?
No, I just remembered that I recorded 4 videos today, and so I turned my gain down again like I usually do. So,
Jackass.
Okay.
Scribbles, how you doing?
I am doing good. I had a cheeseburger for lunch and onion rings, so I'm full of yummy. And work was quiet. And yeah, that was my day. Oh, and I did other things too, but I'll talk about that at YouTube time.
I wasn't my normal self today online. I was working on a secret project, y'all, that I was talking to the guys about before this. So when it comes to fucketry time, I hope you guys have some because I have nothing. Nothing.
Oh, I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Nothing. How many of you saw Blair's new video? I watched a little bit of that mash when I was out in the living room. Lady Monkey was watching it. I just didn't pay attention to it. So whoops. I had spaghetti for dinner, which is one of my favorite dinners, so I'm kind of happy. But I also almost fell over one of Little Butt's toys and twisted my back, which is making me not happy. So I'm having an even day.
Was it a Lego?
No, actually, it was her baby stroller.
Oh.
It has her little far too realistic looking doll in it.
It scares me.
Speaking of scaring me, I got a text last night that worried me quite a bit.
Okay.
My son's fiance. No, kind of. My son's fiance sent just a message out of the blue saying she's 3.4 pounds. And I'm like, wait, did you have the baby? Because the baby's not due until at this point, they're actually looking at inducing on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I got this, and she's like, no, apparently that's a guesstimated weight based on size and everything. She had a doctor's appointment. I'm like, well, you gotta, you can't just tell me her weight like that. But we got to see new 3D ultrasound pictures, and she looks so cute. She has her hand up by her face.
Oh.
I got to see Little Butt for a few minutes today. She made me cook with her. And we did crafts today. So there's sparkly shit all over my living room that I got to clean up tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's all I have for pre-talking. Is that a word, pre-talking?
Now it is, I suppose.
Do you guys have anything before we get into the news?
You had a super chat before we started.
I did. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. Point Curation. It says, watch Canada follow suit in time. I believe he's talking about Article 11 and 13 passing.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, let's do this. Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Speaking of video games, we'll be playing over on 2 Cents Plus after this. Smash that like button, guys. And please, for the love of God, share our stuff because YouTube doesn't do it. If there's a creator you enjoy, like, say, Satsu, Scribe, or myself, or anyone else, share. Please, you guys are our best PR these days. Scribbles, what do you got for news?
Well, let's see. God continues his vengeance against Confederate statues as Florence moves near the Carolinas.
You know what I think it is?
What is it?
The majority of hurricanes hit the South, and that's where most of the trailer parks are. I think it's God because you know that God usually hits them with tornadoes, but he just throws a big water tornado at him once in a while. Thank you, Sanguine. Most people would just call pre-talk a prelude. Oh, yeah. You're right.
It could also
like pre-talk, though.
It could also be a divine insurance scam.
Oh, yeah.
But setting aside serious life-threatening things, Hurricane Florence prompts warning, you put your life at risk by staying.
Get out, people.
Excuse me. Officials in the potential path of a still fierce Hurricane Florence had a stern, clear message for people still in coastal towns under evacuation orders. Leave now. Quote, "You put your life at risk by staying," North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said. "Don't plan to leave once the winds and rains start." Cooper and his South Carolina counterpart, Henry McMaster, told the more than 1 million people who have been told to leave that if they don't, they are on their own. McMaster told residents in some counties that emergency responders will be pulled from areas expected to be hit hard. Quote, "Even the rescuers cannot stay there," he said. Florence is forecast to crawl up to the North Carolina coast late this week and then turn slowly left, a development that would smash the Tar Heel state with life-threatening storm surge, catastrophic winds, and inundating rain, while also endangering a large portion of South Carolina. Florence, one of the strongest storms on the eastern seaboard in decades, is a Category 3 hurricane with winds of 115 miles per hour. It is predicted to deliver tropical storm force winds by noon Thursday to North Carolina's coast, and hurricane force winds and dangerous storm surges by late Thursday or early Friday. Tornadoes are possible Thursday in eastern North Carolina. Forecast models predict Florence's center may slow to a crawl just off North Carolina early Friday and make a southwesterly turn, punishing the coast while moving perhaps only 2 to 3 miles per hour. When and where it will make landfall is unclear. The precipitation from Florence will start midday Thursday, and then it will rain for 4 days, said CNN meteorologist Tom Sater. And yeah, the current projected path has this sucker going straight into South Carolina, basically. Yeah. It's just, it's not looking good.
And for those of you who missed it, this is Trump's fault.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. This is the problem with predicting these things is they don't know where it's going to go. And it's down to a 3, which is great because it was a 4 yesterday. And that's what they were expecting it to hit as. And hopefully, guys, it dissipates and it's just a tropical storm when it hits. But God, man, you don't want to be caught there if it comes back in at a Category 4. So please be careful. Please.
Please, man. I seen Sharknado.
Oh, Lord.
That's all I have to say on it. Just stay safe, guys.
Let's see. Well, next up we have, per the title of the stream, unless you wanted to save that for like fucketry time or something.
No, we can go ahead and talk about it.
All right. So the European Union approves controversial copyright directive, including internet link tax and upload filter. Those in favor say they're fighting for content creators, but critics say the new laws will be catastrophic. The European Parliament has voted in favor of the Copyright Directive, a controversial piece of legislation intended to update online copyright laws for the internet age. The directive was originally rejected by MEPs in July following criticism of 2 key provisions, Articles 11 and 13, dubbed the link tax and upload filter by critics. However, in Parliament this morning, an updated version of the directive was approved, along with amended versions 13. The final vote was 438 in favor and 226 against. The fallout from this decision will be far-reaching and take a long time to settle. The directive itself still faces a final vote in January 2019, although experts say it's unlikely it will be rejected. After that, it will need to be implemented by individual EU member states, who could very well vary significantly, that's vary with an E and then vary with an A, because that's how you do that, in how they choose to interpret the directive's text. The most important parts of this are Articles 11 and 13. Article 11 is intended to give publishers and papers a way to make money when companies like Google link to their stories, allowing them to demand paid licenses. Article 13 requires certain platforms like YouTube and Facebook stop users sharing unlicensed copyrighted material. Critics of the copyright directive say these provisions are disastrous. In the case of Article 11, they note that attempts to tax platforms like Google News for sharing articles have repeatedly failed, and that the system would be ripe for abuse by copyright trolls. Article 13, they say, is even worse. The legislation requires that platforms proactively work with rights holders to stop users uploading copyrighted content. The only way to do so would be to scan all data being uploaded to sites like YouTube and Facebook. This would create an incredible burden for small platforms and could be used as a mechanism for widespread censorship. This is why figures like Wikipedia founder Jimmy Wales and World Wide Web inventor Tim Berners-Lee came out so strongly against the directive. However, those backing these provisions say that the arguments above are the result of scaremongering by big US tech companies eager to keep control of the web's biggest platforms. They point to existing laws and amendments to the directive as proof it won't be abused in this way. These include exemptions for sites like GitHub and Wikipedia from Article 13, and exceptions to the link tax that allow for the sharing of mere hyperlinks and individual words describing articles without constraint. In remarks following the vote in Parliament this morning, MEP Axel Voss, who has led the charge on Articles 11 and 13, thanked his fellow politicians, quote, "for the job we have done together. This is a good sign for the creative industries in Europe," said Voss. Opposing MEPs like Julia Reda of the Pirate Party described the outcome as catastrophic. I'll just stop there because it goes on for a bit. Sorry, it only has another paragraph. Despite these disagreements, what's clear is that if the copyright directive receives final approval by the European Parliament in January, it will have a huge disruptive impact on the internet, both in the European Union and around the world. Exactly how the legislation will be interpreted will be up to individual nations, but the shift in the balance of power is clear. The web's biggest tech companies are losing their grip on the internet. Is that really the interpretation? Okay.
Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Mom and Pop are out, but I'm sitting here watching their Ring cameras, waiting for the storm surge. Had to buy a beachfront house last year, didn't they? Well, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh, man. Can you... and they're telling us you're roboting a little Scribe. I didn't notice, but as to these fucking retarded articles, this doesn't just affect the EU, guys. This is going to affect all of us because they put the onus on the tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
So if YouTube is required to do this, it's going to affect all of us, and we will not be allowed to upload anything that has anybody else's stuff in it. Where we use fair use now to like respond to Boogie like I did yesterday, that won't be allowed anymore because that is technically his copyrighted work. And even though here in the States we have fair use laws that allow for that, YouTube won't be able to make that separation between where you live.
Well, won't they be able to make the separation? We'll just be restricted.
How do you mean restricted?
Like, because basically, like if you actually use something that has like copyright restrictions in a certain region that's not here, usually your video is restricted for that area. Like it'll say this video is restricted in this place or whatever.
They do that for controversial content, and that is usually based on somebody reporting it. Not always, but usually. What'll happen here is it would be such a pain in the ass for them to go through and make sure that stuff isn't being used that they'll just do a blanket sweep.
Well, how are they going to do a blanket sweep of everything? And I mean, how much content counts as copyright? If I use 3 seconds of something, does that automatically disqualify my video? And then does every
under Article 13, anything will count.
Right. So does that mean that every channel that has anything fair use that we would consider here suddenly get 17 copyright strikes and their channel will be immediately terminated?
Could, yeah.
Well, see, that's gonna be catastrophic for YouTube, though.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if they're gonna willingly fucking kill themselves as a company.
The only other way to do it would be for them to pull out of the EU, to restrict access to their platform in the EU.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they would do that long before they gut every single creator they have on their site, because that is a huge hit. There are millions of channels out there. Like, holy shit.
And it's not like they're making any money off of YouTube. So
right. And the thing is, this is going, like, Article 11 is going to hurt the news sites that they're talking about getting linked to. Say I had a small blog and CNN for some reason decided to link to it. That would be a boon for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you have all these places like, well, they're getting my story, and that there's already mechanisms in place so that they can't just completely rip off your story. But what's going to happen now is they're going to have your permission to do that, and they're not going to go through that. So they'll just either start their own news source or just start using the the existing news sources that like Reuters or the Associated Press exclusively.
Now, the bigger problem to all of this is that there's no way that any human being or group of human beings can possibly manually and with a brain look at everything in order to check and see if it's following. So just like YouTube, if these companies decide to try to fall in line, it's going to come down to algorithms and bots and all types of crazy stuff that are going to go nuts and screw up everybody's lives.
Yeah.
And so nobody's going to be linking. I mean, why take the risk of linking to anyone's content anymore? Like CNN, all that free advertising CNN gets by people just like retweeting links to their articles or anything else is going to stop, because I don't want my Twitter account to suddenly go away because I'm sharing a news story. Fuck that.
Well, when the implications behind this actually hit and people start to see like, wait a minute, this is affecting way more things than we initially intended. I feel like by the way things are being explained right now, the only reason companies like BuzzFeed or any of these companies are even still afloat, and they barely are now, is because people hate share their shit.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's another part of this. There's the great meme war going on. For those of you who haven't been paying attention to this, the EU is insisting that this will not affect memes because lots of people are going, you've killed memes here. Real quick, thank you, Prospero. The architect of the EU Parliament building modeled it on the Tower of Babel. The idiots in the EU missed the irony of that architect designed a fecking warning. Yeah. If you take all of the memes that have been made about Nike after the stupid Colin Kaepernick ad, like the one with Bo Bergdahl, which wasn't, shitting on Bo Bergdahl, but that is a copyrighted picture. Somebody owns that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You cannot, under these new rules, use that picture.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, this is stupid authoritarian crap. It is just garbage. And they keep talking about how they even mentioned in there, the big tech companies don't want this to happen. They might not want it to happen, but they're the only ones who have the ability to actually implement this stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
No one else does. No small company does. So yeah, this is fucking moronic. And
That'd be. I mean, it would be. I don't think it's going to happen, but that'd be amazing if YouTube just said, "Okay, we're no longer going to connect to the European Union."
Sanguine, thank you. Make the EU a dead zone for social media and see how long the law lasts after that. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
If the big tech companies got together and you had, say, Google, which would include YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, even sites like Instagram, have them all. Fuck it, I'm not dealing with your bullshit. Nobody over there can use it anymore. So yeah, I think that is what it would take to get them to get their heads out of their asses.
Yeah, the uprising would be immediate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, realistically speaking, how is this benefiting them? Like, because I still haven't figured that out. Like, the people who want this, what exactly is this doing for them?
Well, if you read some of the arguments, one of the things that the EU keeps saying is that small artists are being taken advantage of. And yeah, no, I'm not kidding. And that art is a big part of their economy. So let's say, Satsu, you make a little piece of music and I were to use it on my video without your thing, that's a direct copyright infringement. If you took a photo and I made a meme over it, they're saying the same thing, that would be this. I would be stealing your work, and therefore you're not making the money that you would have. Yeah, they're trying to compare the two things, and they're just not the same.
Yeah.
Small artists like Paul McCartney. Yes, exactly, Virus.
Yeah.
No, it's really, really stupid. It's I don't know who they're listening to for this shit, because none of it makes any goddamn sense.
Right.
And especially to somebody like me, I mean, and you guys as well, we're Americans. We have fair use is like Supreme Court dictated. And yeah, these guys are like, nah, fair use. Fuck that shit. One more time. Thank you, Sanguine. Shit, doesn't this already hit Google and search engines? Just kill their internet, return them to the telegraph and phone lines. Yeah. The only thing they would have at that point is somebody would have to start their own versions of those over there. And frankly, I'm surprised Google hasn't pulled out of a lot of places already.
Well, here's the other part. Since this has to be implemented by every independent European state, that means that each European state could conceivably have different rules and regulations.
Yes, they even in the article they mentioned that.
Yeah, so you've got there's 28 European Union states, I think, something like that. So you conceivably have 28 different versions of rules and laws that the internet companies would have to somehow try to conform their policies towards based on the I don't know, the location of the person operating the internet. So like if you're in Bulgaria versus France and you're uploading something in Bulgaria and France, you get two different kinds of rules that Facebook is going to have to keep their eyes on. Yeah, it would be cheaper just to like drop out or threaten to. It's like you say, if a big editorial or ad was posted in the month leading up to the vote in January saying like, you know, it is not financially viable for us to continue doing business in the European Union if there's going to be 28 different sets of regulations we have to adhere to, and we have to censor our users. So goodbye.
That is asinine, man. It sounds like some misguided bigwigs who are thinking they're missing out on way more money than they actually are, trying to grasp for whatever pennies they think they're missing out on, and in the end, it's just going to not work out. But we'll see. Maybe they know something we don't.
God damn it! I was getting roboting there, and it's because my fucking Steam started downloading shit.
I think that's what was happening last night. I think Steam was trying to update Skyrim for some reason. It had like a gigabyte fucking update or something. I think that's what was fucking me up last night.
Well, anytime I start having it, and I know it's me, and because I heard it from both of you, so I knew it was me. Yeah. The first thing I do is turn on Steam and see if that. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to only do it when I tell it to, but sometimes.
Ever since they changed the UI on Steam, everything has been like it's been giving me a hard fucking time.
Nut says Monkey needs love. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, guys. And Gregory Hurst, thank you. Free web will fail from regulation, so government takes over. The problem is even there, it's not going to work for them. They're going to lose so much more money from the ads and stuff online than they're going to lose from one goddamn artist who took a picture that goes viral as a fucking meme, a picture that nobody would have ever seen except for that. Anyway, thank you, James Colley. What it boils down to, Anita Sarkeesian and SJW echo chambers want protection from retort and any other narrative that isn't their cult religion. I don't think that is what's really going on in this instance. This screams, and they talk about the mom and pop kind of things. It screams as protection for that kind of stuff. When, again, these are not. Those are the people who are going to get screwed by it the most, and they don't understand that ISPs are the small ISPs, the small internet companies. They say they built in a protection for Wikipedia, and I forget what the other one was. But most everyone else is subject to this shit. So yeah, good job, Europe. You're a bunch of fucking morons, and if you pass this completely, yeah, I hope Google and everybody pulls out, and I want to watch you squirm about it.
Man, I'm glad to be over here.
Yeah, me too.
For now,
yeah.
Let's see. Well, I've got two stories from the entertainment world, just for the heck of it.
All right, what we got?
First, The Tonight Show cancels Norm Macdonald appearance after comedian's Me Too comment. So this happened a couple days ago. Norm Macdonald's appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon was hastily canceled Tuesday after the comedian stirred controversy with remarks about the Me Too movement and the treatment of Louis C.K., Chris Hardwick, and Roseanne in recent scandals. Quote, out of sensitivity to our audience and in light of Norm Macdonald's comments in the press today, The Tonight Show has decided to cancel his appearance on Tuesday's telecast, NBC said in a statement. Tonight Show's decision to drop Macdonald came even after he apologized for his comments later in the day, which he shouldn't have done. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, McDonald said he was, quote, happy the Me Too movement has slowed down a little bit, unquote. He further opined, quote, it used to be 100 women can't be lying, and then it became one woman can't lie, and then it became I believe all women. And then you're like, what? Like that Chris Hardwick guy I really thought got the blunt end of the stick there, unquote.
He did.
He also stated, he did, yeah. One girl implied something, and then he was suddenly vilified forever. But fortunately, they gave him his show back because there wasn't any evidence that anything had happened. He also stated that he felt Roseanne Barr was treated harshly in the storm that ensued after she likened Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett to an ape in an early morning tweet in May. Barr was fired and her Roseanne sitcom revival was canceled within hours. It was ultimately revived as The Conners without Barr's involvement, and I'm sure that's going to just do gangbusters. McDonald, who got his start as a writer working on Barr's original ABC series, described Barr's and Louis C.K.'s struggle. C.K. lost his deal with FX, among other projects, after revelations of his sexual misconduct. Yeah, quote, there are very few people that have gone through what they have, losing everything in a day, McDonald said. Of course, people will go, what about the victims? But you know what? The victims didn't have to go through that. McDonald later apologized for minimizing the pain of victims of sexual abuse and harassment with his comments. Norm, I hate to tell you this, you don't have enough power to minimize their pain.
Real quick, Toasted Network, thank you. Is Riley J. Dennis running the EU? Hashtag ban Riley. No, he's not. He's a different kind of idiot. I want to, before we move on, I want to touch on that part. If you talk about people like Weinstein's victims, fine. Maybe there's some pain there. Louis C.K.'s victims had to watch him jack off after agreeing to. Valerie Jarrett didn't suffer any fucking thing from being compared to somebody from Planet of the Apes. Stop making everything sound like somebody got fucking shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like every single, no matter how small it was, every single incident was treated like an epidemic. And they weren't all the same, but they're all being treated that way.
Yep.
And lastly, a rare report of domestic violence coming from a female.
Uh-oh.
But especially a celebrity. Bachelor star Amanda Stanton arrested, accused of domestic violence. Huh. I don't watch The Bachelor, so I have no idea who this is, but it stood out to me. Reality star Amanda Stanton has been arrested and charged with domestic violence. Stanton, who starred on season 20? Season 20! Holy shit. How long has that show been going on?
20 seasons.
Well, Stanton, who starred on season 20 of The Bachelor and on 2016's Bachelor in Paradise, was arrested after an alleged altercation with her boyfriend, Bobby Jacobs, at the Encore Hotel in Las Vegas on Monday. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department said officers responded to a battery domestic violence call at 3:15 a.m. Officers said an altercation took place in front of the police once they arrived on the scene. Stanton was arrested and transported to Clark County Detention Center. Quote, through the course of the investigation, it was found that there was probable cause to arrest Stanton on one count of battery domestic violence, a spokesperson said. A representative for Stanton, Steve Honing, said the incident was a misunderstanding and a result of Stanton having too much to drink. Okay.
So it's okay for a woman to beat up a man if they're drunk?
Especially in front of the cops.
You think that would work for a man? I only hit her because I was drunk.
Yeah, I had too much to drink. It was a misunderstanding.
Real quick, Direwolf's in chat. How you doing, bud? If you guys don't watch his channel, make sure you do. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, super chat.
Oh, thank you, Sanguine. No, Monkey, everything must be treated like someone got shot, save for protest where shit is burned down. Then they are mostly peaceful. Yeah. Don fucking Lemon. Oh, God. I just love that. It's not really domestic abuse. She was drinking.
Quote, Amanda is embarrassed and ashamed this happened and sincerely apologizes to hotel security and the Las Vegas Police Department. How about the guy you beat up?
How about the victim?
Amanda is a gentle, respectful person who has never gotten physical with anyone under any circumstance, except for punching the guy in front of the cops. That evening, she had a few drinks at a bachelorette party, ironic, and when the hotel security asked her and Bobby to quiet down, she got a bit rambunctious. Amanda gave Bobby what she thought was a playful shove. Hotel security did their job and reported the incident to the police, who in turn did their job. Despite Bobby explaining this was not an ill-intended shove, the police still had to do their job, which Amanda completely respects and understands.
It wasn't an ill-intended shove.
Okay,
For
anyway.
fuck's sake.
Officer, that backhand wasn't ill-intended. Like, it was playful. It was a playful backhand.
Yes, I'm sure a man would have been treated even better than that.
Weren't we just talking about the difference in which the sexes are treated with this whole Serena Williams bullshit? Like, weren't we just talking about that? How? All right. Okay. Let's move on.
I just want to point out a story. I told you guys I watched that show Last Chance U.
You got a super chat though.
Oh, thank you, Sanguine. Victims don't count if they're male. Duh. Yeah, no shit. One of the guys on Last Chance U. Last Chance U are athletes who've gotten into some kind of trouble and they end up going to a community college to try to get their careers back on track. One of the guy was a Florida State quarterback. He was a star quarterback, and he went to a bar one night, and there was a belligerent woman there who hit him. So he punched her in the face. The video went viral, and he got kicked out of Florida State over it. Literally defending himself. But he lost everything. This woman, she was a little drunk. Does that? I can't be the only one who thinks the system's a little unfair.
This is why we need the Equal Rights Amendment, like right now.
We do. Yes, absolutely. I'm all for it. I think women will be pissed off about it, though. Was that the last story you had? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
All right. That leads us to, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a story you'd like us to take a look at, hit us up at the hashtag MSS News over on the Twitter machine. We can't get to all of your submissions, but we thank you for every one. Scribe.
Thank you, monkey.
It's been a while since I did it in the proper voice, so I thought I'd do it.
I appreciate it.
You sound like Nut Gobbler from South Park.
I have no idea who that is.
She's the whore that Jimmy bangs so he can get rid of his boner.
By the way, South Park's being canceled.
Is it?
That's what I hear, yeah. Let's see. Let's start with one from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier, and you have a super chat.
Direwolf says, thanks for the shout out, brother. Oh, dude, man. Dyer, I love you, man. You do good work.
Let's see. So what's an evening without some Florida stories? Pair arrested for sex act on Fort Myers sidewalk.
Wow.
What's with all the public
Arrested in
sex
Fort
lately?
Myers for. Okay, am I breaking up or are you breaking up?
That was you a little bit, Scribe. I didn't hear Monkey breaking it.
Great. Well,
It's great when
tell
it's
me if it
both of
keeps
us
going on.
and we can't tell which one it is.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
I blame you
Okay,
two.
well, let me know if it continues, and then I'll just drop out of talking for the rest of the night again because I'm getting sick of this. 2 people have been arrested in Fort Myers for participating in a sex act on a Fort Myers sidewalk in broad daylight. Fort Myers police have arrested 58-year-old Philip Daly and 47-year-old Bernadette Colatarshi, excuse me, and charged them both with lewd and lascivious acts. According to a police report on Monday, a bicycle officer was riding on Central Avenue near Lafayette Avenue around 12:30 p.m. The officer noticed a person lying down on the sidewalk while another hovered over them. As the officer approached, she realized that Colatarchi was performing oral sex on Daly. The pair were interrupted and taken into custody for transportation to Lee County Jail. Both suspects have extensive arrest histories with 14 combined arrests between them this year, mostly for open container and trespassing. There you go.
So somebody got a blowjob and now they're both arrested.
In public, yes.
In public, yeah.
This one comes from Seal77. This sounds completely rational. Las Vegas professor shot himself in the arm to protest Trump.
What?
And how did Trump feel about that? Like, what is the medical status on
apparently
Donald
I'm
Trump?
not allowed to read the story because I'm not willing to subscribe. So all I can read is a longtime College of Southern Nevada sociology professor is facing felony gun charges in connection with an on-campus shooting on the second day of classes. Mark J. Bird, 69, was charged last, and then I can't read anything else because...
I can read it. I have the whole thing right here.
Well, good for you, because apparently I can't.
Mark J. Bird, 69, was charged last month with discharging a gun within a prohibited structure, carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, and possessing a dangerous weapon on school property, court records show. He was found bleeding from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his arm about 8:15 a.m. on August 28th outside a bathroom in the Charleston Campus K building. Inside the bathroom, police found a $100 bill taped to a mirror along with a note that said, "For the janitor." According to Bird's arrest report, on the floor of the restroom was a black and white 22 caliber pistol and one spent shell casing. The sociology professor was hired August 26, 1993, and was emeritus faculty member at the time of the shooting, college spokesman Richard Lake said. Emeritus, thank you. Bird was not scheduled to teach any courses during the fall 2018 semester. Bird was employed with the college as of Tuesday, although Lake said it was not clear what disciplinarian actions would be taken against him, if any. That's a rough day. You shoot yourself and get fired.
I'm sure President Trump really felt that when you did that to yourself.
Where is it because of this? Sounds more like a suicide gone bad. Okay. One college employee told police that he held Bird's hand to calm him down as others tried to stop the bleeding. While waiting for authorities to arrive, Bird said he had shot himself in protest of Donald Trump, police noted in their report. The report did not elaborate.
I think Alzheimer's may be setting in, and you got a super chat.
Thank you, Sanguine. If he wanted to make a stand, go for the head. From the sounds of, I mean, he left $100 for the janitor. It sounds like he was trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, since the police report didn't elaborate, there's nothing more than that one line about it being a protest.
I think he was making shit up to cover up the fact that he's trying to kill himself.
I mean, the fact that he thought that was less stupid, I guess.
I guess. Well,
like you tried to kill yourself and you shot yourself in the arm. So you thought, this sounds much better. I did it to hurt Donald Trump in a bathroom where nobody knew, like no cameras, no nothing. I was just hoping that spiritually we were blood brothers and he was connected and somehow he would feel this shot.
Thank you, Gregory Hirsch. Sentence 100 push-ups.
No.
That's just me.
Let's see. This one comes from Top Ramen Lewis. Yeah, this is big news all over the place today. Henry Cavill exits Superman role in DC Extended Universe. The DC Extended Universe has just lost its Man of Steel. Henry Cavill has exited the role of Superman for Warner Brothers. According to the Hollywood Reporter, the exit reportation coming Shazam movie broke down due to scheduling conflicts. Cavill's exit opened his schedule up the lead role in Netflix's upcoming television adaptation of The Witcher, of which one of the writers describes herself as a patriarchy smasher. I can't wait to. I'm not a. It's not that I don't like The Witcher or something. I don't have any reason not to like it. I have never played any of the games. I'm not familiar with it. I know a lot of fans of that game though, and the lore and the books and everything. The Netflix series sounds like it's going to be a clusterfuck if it's going to be doing what is rumored is going to be going on.
Well, it should be interesting considering that game is known for its fucking sex scenes and relationship stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's like ridiculously violent and rough and medieval and very sort of uncompromising in how it portrays, life in that world and everything.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, with Cavill leaving, Warner Brothers doesn't plan to make another Superman movie for several years. Instead, it will shift focus onto the planned Supergirl movie. Yeah.
Huh.
Superman is like James Bond, and after a certain run, you have to look for new actors, a studio source said. No, you guys fucked up and you lost your Superman. This isn't a natural progression of the character or the actor moving on. This is you guys not knowing what the hell you're doing with your own franchises. The report suggests that Ben Affleck will also likely depart his DCEU role as Batman, opening up the position for a new, probably younger actor in Matt Reeves' standalone Batman movie. Cavill would likely not be a part of the Supergirl film since it will focus on Kara Zor-El as a teenager on Krypton back when Kal-El was still an infant. Honestly, if you want a Supergirl movie, just watch the Supergirl TV show. It's painful in some, like season 2 and season 3 are kind of hard to go through, but it's much better than anything these movies are going to do.
Thank you, Sanguine. Wait, the dude known for laying his way through Poland is a patriarchy smasher?
Yes.
Who are we talking about there?
No.
Yeah, duh.
Oh, wait, he called himself the patriarchy smasher.
Yeah.
No. Well, no, the one of the writers.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought
yeah.
you said. I'm like,
Yeah, one of the writers on the show, who is a female, describes herself on her Twitter account as a patriarchy smasher. So that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be social justice Witcher, SJW. But I know.
Well, I was just making sure I heard you right. Somebody just misunderstood.
No. Thank you, Dark Shade. Can't wait for Netflix Witcher and woke black Siri. I don't know how you say it. That would be Siri, right?
Siri, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never played through the game, so I don't know the lore. I do know he's kind of a whore, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He's a man whore?
Oh yeah. He'll lay anything. And isn't Siri his daughter or
kind of?
Yeah. So
yeah,
anyway.
He's her
there was
one, so to speak.
There was one name that was being floated by somebody, I don't know who, and I only know this peripherally, as a replacement for Cavill as Superman. Michael B. Jordan.
I love kidding. Michael B. Jordan, but
yeah, I like Michael B. Jordan too, but yeah, no. There's just some things. Look, I'm sorry that you don't quite replace in that way.
We cannot have any Superman who did not come from Krypton.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
If the actor didn't come from Krypton, he can't play him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the actor isn't actually an alien from another planet. Can't play an alien from another planet. What else do we have?
I think we need a black Superman. Not the black Superman. Is there?
Yeah, it's Steel.
No.
John Henry Irons. No, John Henry Irons, Steel. I mean, you want to do a reboot, not the Shaquille thing? Fine. There you go. You got your black Superman. Or do you Black Green Lantern?
We was Kryptonians. No. Yeah, we no, don't do that. Get another white guy, preferably one who doesn't have a stick up his butt when he walks this time, to be the new Superman.
See, they should have killed Superman off at the end of Justice League, and then they could do the whole Rise of the Superman storyline, where they have 4 different Supermen, and you wouldn't have to worry about having Henry Cavill there because you could have 4 different actors doing it.
But how would they look with their mustache bleeped out?
I don't know. They probably have to make that part of the plot. Actually, they should all be wearing fake mustaches.
What we need a Muslim Superman.
That's right.
Well, his name is Muhammad.
I don't think we're allowed to make that joke, Scribe.
Oh, sorry. I didn't depict him. I just said his name. Peace be upon him.
Peace be upon him.
Please,
for God's sake, peace be upon him.
Allah's sake, monkey.
Oh.
Okay. Professor Chaos sends us this one. Outrage over artwork allowing visitors to pose as victims of ISIS killer Jihadi John.
What?
Okay, so let me describe this for you for the sake of the audience. It is a blown-up picture of one of the execution videos where you've got Jihadi John standing there with somebody on their knees in an orange shirt getting ready to probably have their throat cut. And the place where the victim's head would be has been cut out so that someone can stand behind it, put their head through, and have their picture taken.
Wow.
like a carnival kind of thing.
Real quick,
this
thank you,
real?
Sanguine. Well, Man of Steel did destroy a lot of buildings.
Oh, a graphic artwork which encourages visitors to pose for a photo with ISIS terrorist Jihadi John waiting to behead them has caused outrage, unsurprisingly. The installation, dubbed Phantom Pain, Jesus, is part of an exhibition at the Gogbot, Gogbot. I'm sure it's pronounced differently in Europe or something, or the Gobot or something, art and music festival in Anshade in the Netherlands. It features a full-size picture of the crazed killer dressed entirely in black printed on a wooden board. But next to him is a picture of his victim's body in orange jumpsuit, seemingly down on her knees as often pictured moments before execution. Visitors to the Gobo Festival were charged between $7.80 and $15, with those visiting the Phantom Pain exhibit invited to pose as Jihadi John's victim.
Thank you, Dark Shade. There's a Black Superman, Valzad of Earth 2. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Sure.
Oh yeah, if it's him, then that's fine.
I think if they did a John Henry Steele movie, like, you know, they say that Superman has left Earth to try to find other Kryptonians or something as just a plot thing, and the city is crying out for a new hero because, you know, Batman's off in Gotham City and the Flash has disappeared into time and Wonder Woman is in the 80s or something and Aquaman's under the sea. And so John Henry Irons steps up and makes his whole super duper Iron Man suit and starts throwing down. That'd be cool.
We'll see.
I'm looking at this picture where you can get your picture taken with Jihadi. I would do that. That's funny.
So I think I've seen, if I remember correctly, the Black Superman or whatever. He looks like gritty and, like, you know what I mean? Like, he looks like he done been through some shit. Like, he looks like a hardened motherfucker who will fuck you up. And even more so, I still don't think Michael B. Jordan would be good in that position.
No.
Well, I mean, if DC is going to go the dark and gritty route with its characters anyway, the last character they should have picked to do that was Superman in the first place. So they might as well just continue on that bent, I guess, by picking characters that could do that and it wouldn't seem out of place. Anyway, this one comes from Frosted Glass.
We're going to make this our last one, guys.
Okay, and this is from The Root. New York Governor Cuomo's cannabis policy will leave Black people out of the money.
Before you read, thank you, Sanguine. Kryptonian prison? That's where Zod is, isn't he?
No, Zod's in the Phantom Zone.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Which I guess is kind of a Kryptonian prison. Well, okay, wait. In the DECU, Zod is dead. Mm-hmm. In the normal continuity of things, he's locked in the Phantom Zone somewhere. Okay. I'm curious to know how Governor Cuomo has passed a law that affects only Black people. If marijuana were legalized in New York, the state could potentially gain an additional $248 million to $678 million in tax revenue. Yet during the gubernatorial debate against Cynthia Nixon, Governor Andrew Cuomo said, quote, "I disagree with my opponent that tax revenue should go to reparations," unquote. Oh, that's how you get from cannabis policy will not give Black people money.
But, okay. Keep going.
That's tax revenue in general, not... He didn't say anything. Okay. He was referring to Nixon's comprehensive plan to restore Black and brown communities decimated by the war on drugs, which includes funding public schools, job training, expunging the drug records of criminals with marijuana convictions, investing state tax revenue generated from dispensaries in poor communities, and providing financial assistance and small business support to Black and brown people interested in owning a dispensary. So you're going to meter out tax revenue on the basis of race.
Well, I don't mind them metering it out on the basis of the places that this has affected the most. But like under that specific parameter of just Black people or whatever, because there's plenty of people in jail for possession of marijuana. Like,
yeah.
So
I mean, if they said, we get $678 million in tax revenue from legalizing marijuana, we're going to use that money to fund public schools, job training. And, honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with expunging the drug records of criminals with marijuana convictions as long as they were, low level and not trafficking, that kind of stuff.
exactly.
Because they've done that in other states and hasn't caused anarchy or nothing. Let's see. Investing state tax revenue generated from dispensaries in poor communities. I don't have a problem with that. And providing financial assistance and small business support to Black and brown people. No, just how about providing financial assistance and small business support to poor communities?
Yeah, or literally anybody who wants to go into the business.
Right. Yeah.
It's supposedly a new business.
She even shouted out the successful reparation programs in Oakland, California.
Yeah, Oakland is a success.
I'm unfamiliar with the reparation programs in Oakland, California. And Massachusetts as models and proof that as marijuana legalization spreads across the nation and as white people become millionaires for selling the same drug that put Black and brown people in cages, because no white person's ever gone to jail for marijuana possession or trafficking, of course.
Are there Black people in Massachusetts?
I don't live there, Monkey. I don't know.
I'm fairly certain there's not. There's just Kennedys there.
That's right. There's a lot of them. Okay. So because all right. This goes on for a long time. I think I read the salient points of this.
So basically, Cuomo disagrees with her ideas.
Cuomo disagrees with her ideas for how tax revenue should be spent, or to go to reparations, I guess. That was his. They're quoting him. I'm assuming that's what he actually said, although if that's taken out of context, I have no way of knowing.
Sure. I wonder if this is part of why what's her name? Amy Schumer decided not to support Cynthia Nixon anymore. Jean-Pierre says New England Patriots have Black people. You're right.
Jesus.
So there's like 30 of them in the state.
Oh Lord.
What?
Anyway,
that is a white motherfucking state. Let's not. It's like whiter than Maine. Thank you, James Colley. Actually, Scribe, as of DC Rebirth, Zod is working for Superman's father and Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, that's right, because they merged the Watchmen into the fucking normal continuity, which makes absolutely no sense. Anyway.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah, guys, that wraps up MSS News. Thank you so much for the submissions, and sorry we can't get to them all. It's just a time thing. It's not that we don't appreciate all of it. With that, we're going to move on to YouTube time, guys. I did not do YouTube, but I was working, believe it or not, and that's something I'm not talking about right now. Maybe later. I also wasn't on Twitter very much today, so we'll see how fucketry time goes. Satsu, what'd you work on today? You said 4 videos?
I recorded 4 videos today, but I only uploaded 1, and that was the newest Raft video. But I did a video on my opinions from what I've seen so far of Call of Duty Blackout. That's going up on 2 Cents Plus. I also did a first impressions video on my thoughts on Dragon Quest XI, or at least what I've played so far. I recorded a video about the Serena Williams meltdown situation, and then I talked about I did a video on the Spider-Man article.
That stupid shit.
Yeah.
He's a policeman.
Yeah. So those videos will be coming out soon. I didn't edit any of them. I just recorded the audio for all of those, and I'll probably be editing those tomorrow, and they'll be coming out throughout the week. So just be on the lookout. Cool.
I forgot to mention tonight, guys, after the stream, we will be playing 7 Days to Die with anybody who wants to join us. There are 20 slots, so get there quick because they have been filling up, guys. Scribbles, what did you do today?
Well, I found a video I'm thinking about doing something on. It's a couple of students at the University of Michigan talking about the intersection of race and gender on campus.
Oh.
And as they speak, you can hear in the background, because for some reason the first portion is just still images of the person speaking, and then the second portion is actual video. You can hear the applause by their audience, and the applause is snapping.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That tells me this is some hardcore shit going on here. So anyway, I just did that. I'm still not quite sure about the whole still images thing. That's kind of weird. But in addition to that, I also was a brief guest on the Two Girls One Stream show with SDA and Weibo, where I basically read the majority. Well, I didn't basically read the majority. I read the majority of the fan fiction I wrote for them, with them reading the parts for their associated characters. It was the second story in the adventures of Dummy and Dick Super Spies. They seemed entertained by it, so I was entertained by it. And if patterns hold true, I'll have a third part out 2 weeks from now.
Cool. All right.
And that's it.
Okay. What's next? Oh, fucketry time. As I said, I wasn't really on Twitter. Did you guys have some fucketry?
I saw a couple things. One of the things I saw is there appears to be a server. I think it was what was his name? Ethan Ralph, I believe.
Oh, yeah, Ethan Ralph. That's from the Ralph Retort.
Yep.
They apparently his server's being used to dox Mundane Matt's family.
Oh, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at some screenshots for it or whatever.
Now, I want to be careful here because it's not Ralph doing it; it's somebody in his server.
But that's
doing
what
it.
I was saying. Yeah, it was. That's why I said his server is being used for that. I don't know if he is a part of it at all because I was looking at the screenshots and I didn't really see anything. Or him contributing, but
this all started a little while ago with flagging. Right after the whole Matt thing came out, people in Ralph's server were going hard at we need to false flag Kraut, we need to false flag Matt, and who was it? David Sherratt, Spinosaurican. He went through it and got a bunch of screenshots of that, and for some reason, instead of that causing everything to quiet down, it seems to have escalated it. Yeah, to where these people are doing that. I just don't get hating somebody that much.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's tantamount to stalking. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
Well, what really kills me though is like it's the same thing that I think whenever I see these situations, they're like, this person is a horrible person and he did a horrible thing. So we're going to mimic or do something just as horrible to show how much better we are than him.
Yeah.
I never understood that logic. It's just like, why purposely forfeit your moral high ground by not being the person who did that, by becoming the person who does that or something worse? It just seems fucking retarded to me. Yeah. One of the comments by Viral Vermin said, because Matt woke up a sleeping giant, he started something by ruining people's livelihoods. And because of this, the people of the internet has spoken and he must pay the price.
Unless he harmed you, you're not the person to make him pay a price. That's not your role, motherfucker. Jean-Pierre says Ethan is not a doctor. Nobody's saying he is.
Yeah, nobody said he is.
We're clear on that.
let's clarify this. It is something going on in one of his Discord servers or whatever. It's not him doing it.
Prosper says Ethan's crowd can be pretty toxic. A lot of that is one of the things that I love about our audience is that I don't see them being toxic towards people, no matter how irritated I am with somebody. Let's go burn them down. And I thank you guys for that because that's not your role.
Yeah, and any of the ones that are probably on alt accounts.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I don't know Ralph that well. I think I've only spoken to him once, and ironically, it was on a Matt stream. But I don't have anything against Ralph. Somebody's brought out the fact, I think it was Sherratt did it, that Ralph went to jail. No, who was it? It's some new guy. I forget his name. That Ralph has gone to jail. Yeah, that is well known.
Yeah.
it's nothing new, and there's no reason to be digging up this old shit. For fuck's sake, man. I'm against people ruining lives, so I'm ruining lives. At this point, I mean, because the one that I saw, they're looking up Matt's wife, his baby, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Fuck off. If you're doing that stuff, you're a douchebag, and I hope you spend the rest of your life stepping on Legos every time your foot hits the ground. Thank you, Snubbert. Satsu, this is the blood sports fandom, not commentators, to clarify. They're relentless to the people who get shit exposed. You're not wrong.
That is true. But still.
But again, I don't blame Ralph for what his audience does unless he tells them to do it. And as far as I've seen or heard, he hasn't told them to. So
yeah.
I was also I had a lot of fun reading the comments on the another hurricane is about to batter our coast and Trump is complicit.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Read this. Read this thing.
Nut shared us with that with us today. Yeah. Do you have it pulled up?
I actually do.
Cool.
Yeah. The comments were hilarious. I think the first one on there is Trump is both powerless, inept, and masterfully controls storms like Mount Olympus weather god at the same time.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, let me see. I pulled up the article. All right. Yet again, a massive hurricane feeding off unusually warm ocean water has the potential to stall over heavily populated areas, menacing millions of people. Last year, Hurricane Harvey battered Houston. Now Hurricane Florence threatens to drench already waterlogged swaths of the East Coast, including the nation's capital. If the Category 4 hurricane does indeed hit the Carolinas this week, it will be the strongest storm recorded. Yeah, we know all that. President Trump has issued several warnings on his Twitter feed Monday, consoling those Florence. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't that automatically debunk what you just said?
No. You're going to make this guy shoot himself in the arm, Satsu.
Hold on. President Trump issued several warnings on his Twitter feed Monday, consoling those in Florence's projected path to prepare and listen to local officials. The title of this is...
You mean counseling?
Counseling, yeah.
Okay, I was like consoling. It's like the hurricane hasn't hit yet. So
my bad. Counseling, that's what I meant.
Okay, just make sure.
But the title of this is another hurricane is about to batter us and Trump is complicit. Do complicit people warn people to listen to local officials and get to safety?
Well, I bet if you keep reading that this has something to do with global warming, I would bet money. I didn't read the whole story.
Oh, the Paris Accords.
I will bet it has something to do with global warming.
Well, here we go. I didn't read the whole thing.
Let me grab this super chat. 3-sided coin. Thank you. Speaking of your audience, thank you for the nice words about me a few Fridays back. Shame you're always wrong and I'm always right. I enjoy you guys a lot still. You're all still cunts. Right back at you, 3-sided. Okay,
Thanks.
Go ahead.
So at the end of saying that he told them to listen to local officials, they say that was good advice. And then it says, yet when it comes to extreme weather, Mr. Trump is complicit. He plays down humans' roles and increasing the risks, and he continues and he continues to dismantle efforts to address those risks. It is hard to attribute any single weather event to climate change, but there's no reasonable doubt that humans are priming the Earth systems to produce disasters. Oh yeah, okay, well there it is.
Which, even if you believe, has never been shown to have any fucking effect on hurricanes. After Katrina, I think it was, Al Gore came out with, we're going to have the worst hurricanes ever, forever and ever. And we had like unprecedentedly calm hurricane seasons until like 2 years ago. There's never been any evidence linking the two, not in serious science.
Well, there you go.
I fucking hate people.
Complicit Trump.
I knew it though. I told you yesterday they were going to blame it on that.
See, he's not sending enough tributes to the weather gods, because he's denying it. He's denying.
You know what it is?
Earth is being destroyed.
Here's the problem. Vladimir Putin doesn't like South Carolina. And so Trump turned on a weather machine to help influence the elections in whenever they happen.
No, you know what? I think what it really is Trump has been really trying to bury this whole thing that he has been working with Russia, not because he doesn't want them to find out about collusion. It's because he doesn't want them to find out that Vladimir Putin is hacking our clouds.
Oh, that's a good one.
And that's the cover up too. See, it's a code word. When they say he hacked our cloud servers, they trying to throw us off, but what they really mean is our actual clouds.
That motherfucker. He's using that Jew cloud stealing thing, isn't he?
Oh yeah, man. I see. You got to pay attention. I'm on my Alex Jones tonight. Let's get it.
This number said we must stop Man Bear Trump. Oh my God. I need that. I need Man Bear Trump as a meme. Did you have any more fucketry?
Hold on. I'm sure there was at least one more thing that I saw today that was face palm worthy. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking real quick through it. Oh my God, Jordan made a Superman meme of me.
Sweet. Thank you. Nope. Monkey's face is a face within a face. Everybody tells me that, but I don't see it. And I've had it explained to me, but I cannot see it.
They're talking about your avatar?
Yeah, I believe so. People tell me that the mouth nose area, it looks like a face itself, and like he's wearing a hat or something on top. And I can't see it. I've tried. I just don't see it.
Huh.
Anyhow. Weather control is a reality. Yes, I know. I know we can control the weather some. We can't kick up hurricanes.
Oh, I kind of see it. I can kind of see it. You really have to like cut the top of your head off though to really see it, but I can kind of see it.
I think I've just looked at it too much to see it the way other people are. I have one. It popped up just before we started tonight. It's from the EU, and I don't know anything going on around it. It's just some EU politician, or not EU, sorry, UK politician named Jacob Rees-Mogg. He was at his home on his way into his home, and this old man just starts screaming at him. And there were a couple other protesters there too. And one of the things he yelled at him, he yelled at the man's child and says, "Lots of people hate your daddy. Do you know that?"
Yeah.
What kind of fucking asshole do you have to be to talk like that to a child? And we're not talking like a 16-year-old kid. We're talking like the kid might be in 5th or 6th grade, the oldest of the one. There's actually a baby in there too. Real quick, let me give you super chat. Circus Zero, did he get the superpowers to control storms from Sleeping with Stormy Daniels?
Oh,
that's right.
Oh my God. And Nope says it's an Asian face with a hat. I know you guys have told me that. I can't see it.
Asian face with a hat.
Yeah, that's what they say. The only other fucketry I had was somebody said something stupid on Twitter.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Stupid on Twitter?
No.
Yeah. Where was that at? I don't even know. Oh, here it was. Losar. Do you guys know Losar 1?
Not off the top of my head.
He's a perpetual gotcha guy.
Okay.
And he's always looking to catch people at something. But there got to be a centrist discussion again. And he said this: the issue with the self-proclaimed, and this is in quotes, centrist, just the centrist is in quotes now. The problem with the self-proclaimed centrists is that they consistently do not take an honest approach to both sides.
What?
Yeah.
But that's, well, no, not the honest part, not so much, but I'm confused.
Basically, what that means is they don't agree with us enough.
Yeah.
Centrists don't agree with us enough. So therefore, they're not being honest about both sides. Because if they were being honest about both sides, then they would agree with us all the time and never them. Because that's the only thing.
the last interaction me and Losar had, do you guys remember the girls that got busted for having their toddlers smoke dope?
Yeah.
And it came out that they were like looking at 45 years in prison for that. And I tweeted out with that story, good, let them rot. And he tweeted back at me, yeah, that's good. But do you think it's worse than murder or rape? Because people get less time for that. It's like, dude, I'm not playing your fucking game.
What?
It's like, what game? I'm like,
What game?
I hate people who run around and do nothing but fucking straw man.
Right.
I didn't say a goddamn thing about those sentences for rape and murder. And if you've listened to me on here, you know there's times I think for absolute fucking certain that we need stronger sentencing laws with horrible crimes. But yeah, that's the kind of person who thinks that we centrists. He went on to explain that we centrists hide behind the centrist label. Like, fuck you. That was actually my original response to him, was just, oh, fuck you. Yeah, that's all I saw today, because after that I was like, you know what? I'm not fucking with Twitter today. And so I just went and worked on other stuff. 45 years is harsh as fuck. And no, it's not. Not for what they did. They had, I think, what was the oldest one in that one? 4? Three little tiny babies, and they were having them smoke pot.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
I wouldn't even necessarily label myself a centrist, because I guess that's the category I fall into in the general sense of my temperament when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
But again, like you say, it's not a political party. It's not a political ideology. It's just sort of it's like political agnosticism, more or less.
Cryptic says the U.S. has had the highest reduction in CO2 emissions after pulling out of the Paris Accord. The EU had a net increase per the anti-American UN. Yeah. And Ragnock, thank you. We need to bring back public executions. I'm not sure I'm willing to go that far.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
What really kills me is I don't know who taught these people how to generate allies, like how to get people on your side. You know what I mean? Because last time I checked, centrist, like if centrist was a party, it would probably be the largest party. Like if everybody had to come forth and say what they were from or whatever, there's probably more people who are undecided and in the middle of most issues than there are, total for both sides. You know what I mean? Like both.
It works out almost even. There's 30 to 35% Democrats, 30 to 35% Republicans, and that does go back and forth. And that leaves about 30 to 35%, depending, for the mushy middle is what they were called during the Clinton years.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they talk about them as independents, which used to be the thing instead of centrist.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. It's about the same.
Right. And I figured
parties,
with them being as even as they are, they're going to keep clashing and, bashing heads or whatever. And being able to persuade them, people in the undecided people and people in the center, over to your side is probably the most beneficial thing you can do, because you can preach to the choir all day. It's not going to change anything because the numbers are basically identical. So you want to bring people in the center over. Telling them they're fucking worthless pieces of shit and they're just a part of the enemy team anyway is pretty much guaranteeing that they will be over there. Like, you're basically saying, fuck you, you're not welcome over here. You're just a part of their team and you just don't want to admit it. And then you close your eyes and tilt your head to the side and you're like, are they on our team now? Did that work? No, it didn't work.
You're not wrong. That used to be what the parties did. Their hardcore people would complain because you could see them actively trying for that middle ground, those people in the middle,
right?
Because that's where elections are won. They're not won with your base.
So that's what I was saying. It doesn't make sense to me because I don't see a lot of right wing opposition against centrists. Like, I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing it or I just haven't seen it, but I don't see a lot of right-wing people or people who just lean more right than not shit talking centrists. It's only like liberals and people on that side. And I'm wondering, like, Is this a tactic? Is
It
this
is.
something they think it's going to work? Because it failed with Hillary.
Well, it's what Scribe talked about with his friend. It's the idea that if you're not on their side, then you are on the enemy side.
Right. Yeah.
Rather
even,
than
even a position that is effectively Switzerland. Therefore, since you're not, even if you support nothing, supporting nothing is not supporting my thing.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe they're just too stupid to realize that like, at least at the very least, if you just argue your points, you have a chance to maybe persuade some of those people. But if you are lumping those people with the other people, then they might as well just be your opposition. Like, right? Or am
no,
I tripping?
you're absolutely right. Yes. It is an absolutely moronic tactic, and you do see it sometimes with Republicans. It's not as often and not as loudly as you do from liberals right now.
Well, sorry.
I was going to say, I think the Democrats who are pushing this, because it's not your mainstream Democrats. It's not. They know better. That the guy who lost to Alexandria Cortega, whatever her fucking name is, he knew where you should go because he's been elected enough times. They're going to alienate people. Go ahead, Scribe. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in the case of my friend, I mean, now, politicians and like operatives and such may be using that as a tactic. But in the case of my friend, and in the case of, I have to assume, a lot of people, it's not a tactic. It's a true belief that anything other than agreeing with me is a personal betrayal, is a human failing. And especially when somebody or somebody making that argument that your non-participation is helping the bad guys win, that kind of thing. Once you start making that moral argument against somebody, especially if it's somebody that you know or that knows you, that's a lot tougher to deal with than somebody who is doing this for a living.
Ragnar, thank you. Real quick, let me get these. The right wing knows it needs the center to hold itself back. We know when the right goes too far, but we need to push and mass center to correct. And also, and this is the first time the left has experienced no. I'm trying to think if I can remember in any recent history the Democratic Party pushing this far like this. And I know they had problems in the 70s, but I don't think it was based around this. It was their own infighting. I think they are setting themselves up, even no matter who runs in 2020, whether Trump does or another Republican does, if they keep pushing this us or them thing, it's going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it happened with Hillary. It's like, I'm with her, as though just the fact that she's there and also a woman is reason enough to vote for her versus Trump. And we saw how well that worked out.
John Pierre said Democrats had problems in the 80s. They did, but they still held Congress throughout. There was no time in the 80s that the Republicans held both houses. That didn't happen until 94.
Yeah, the Republican
Contract with America.
Contract with America. Yeah, Newt Gingrich standing out there with a big piece of paper.
Yep. Here's the thing. I would rather somebody who agrees with me most of the time to bring them in and accept that we don't agree all the time, than push that person to my opponent. Because that's stupid.
Sure.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's completely stupid. And I don't know. I guess because what's going to end up happening is if that tactic does work, like the people that does work on are going to be the passive, can't really make a decision on their own, not very useful to your actual activist cause because they're passive and not going to actively do anything. They're just going to nod and agree to what you say. And those type of people, I guess, can be useful to get you some whatever votes or whatever, but they're not really going to be effective in your activism, or to actually make things happen. And that's why a lot of these demonstrations that they do, the turnouts be so fucking pathetic, because the people who they manage to agree with them, they're like, okay, well, I guess you're right. I don't want you to keep yelling at me, so I'll do whatever you say. But when it's time to get to action and fucking actually make something happen, they're not going to fucking do it.
Well, see, the problem is the people you're describing are going to be in their base anyway. Most independents, centrists, whatever the fuck you want to call them, don't react well to my way or the highway thinking. A lot of us have dealt with this shit for a long time, and some Trump supporter or some Hillary supporter coming at me saying, if you're not on my side, then you're with the enemy, when I don't care about either of you, it's just gonna be like, fuck both of you. I don't care.
That was the whole box full of deplorables thing.
Yeah.
Or basket of deplorables. It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to completely alienate not just 50%, let's say, of the voting population, but anybody on the fence who wasn't quite sure about whether or not somebody could be a unifier. So,
yep.
It's fascinating to me because, like I said, I've never really been all that interested in politics in general, just because it's annoying to me. Like, it's just irritating.
And then you hung out with us, and now it's all over.
Bunch of old people fucking yelling at each other.
I love politics. I always have. As long as I can remember, I love the game of it. I'm a fan. The actual policy and stuff, I mean, that's a little more serious. But if you just watch it as a game, it's actually kind of fun to watch.
I mean, it's entertaining, but in a morbid way.
Well, yeah. I mean, we literally had people just blame a hurricane on the president. I mean, how can you not watch that and laugh and enjoy it as the absolute assetry that it is? See, I just used your word assetry. Monkey for president in 2020. For the record, I've been running since I turned 35. So far, I don't know of any votes I've gotten. But if you want to write in Ranting Monkey on your next presidential ballot, feel free.
Fucking hilarious.
And let me know when you do it.
Yeah, it's interesting, but also just like mind numbing at the same time. This shit is painful to deal with because I'm still at this point. I've seen so much, and I still get to the point where I'm just like, no way. Like, there's somebody's pulling the strings. There's some fucking puppeteer out there.
Well, see, that's the thing. There's not, and most politics, if you watch it, the cycles don't change, and you can predict it pretty well. The only outlier was Barack Obama. There's no way on paper Barack Obama should have won, and there's no way he should have won re-election. But he did bring out the black vote in a way that nobody's ever been able to do before, which is actually good for the country. I don't think there's a lot of people, oh, he only won because of the black vote. That's a good thing. Black people should have their say too. But that is absolutely true. And that's what Hillary was counting on, is getting those same numbers. And black people went, no, you're a dumbass. I'm not voting for you. And they're going to have that same problem in 2020. I don't think they'll have it in 2018. I think 2018 is going to be pretty standard. Republicans will lose some, but they'll still keep at least one house of Congress.
Yeah.
Did you see the story about Chuck Schumer and how sad he looked announcing that he doesn't think they're going to take over the Senate?
Oh no, I didn't see that. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember the numbers. I think there's only 5 Republican seats up for grabs this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredibly low number, and they're in pretty solid Republican states. So the chance of them flipping any of them is really, really slim. And they need to flip, I think, 3 of them to gain control. Yeah, so he looked so sad. So sad.
Oh, poor Chuck. Poor Chucky.
Poor Chuck. He's such a dumbass. He's a fucking dumbass. He really is. It's amazing to me how many of these senators are really fucking retarded. And everybody knows it, but they keep getting reelected. Harry Reid comes to mind as most. I had a friend who was who's lived in Nevada for a long time, and everybody there hates Harry Reid, but they keep voting him in.
Yeah,
because he's the Democrat on the ticket. Sorry, I could talk politics all the time. I could. I love politics. It's fun to me, and I'm actually been talking to Bear a little bit because I want to understand British politics more.
Oh boy.
I think their politics is so much more fun. If you guys have ever watched their House of Commons, they will basically call each other pricks, and then Where are we? I'd like to defer to the distinguished gentleman from South Carolina. I just wish once, and I don't care which party does it, just once somebody go, yeah, I defer to that cocksucker over there. Because that's what they really mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get
Cryptic, thank you.
cited.
Remember, Chuck is Amy's cousin. Stupid is DNA. Yeah, I'm not surprised. No, but I wish our politicians were a little bit more. I get why they do it for civility and all that, but come on, you don't mean distinguished gentlemen. You don't even mean gentlemen. Fuck off.
Well, it just takes some creative use of language, which a lot of senators don't necessarily have. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Christopher Hitchens was a senator talking to people?
Oh God, that would be awesome.
He would get away with the most dirty, vile stuff and never stray from sounding like a proper individual if you read it from a transcript.
FDR gave us a reason for term limits for presidents. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He gave the Republicans a reason to vote for term limits because they lost 4 in a row.
Instead of the purge, I wish something could happen like to where nobody could lie for 24 hours. Like everybody had to be straightforward, and it was like a conscious thing that turned on that you couldn't do anything about. Just like
that would be great.
Oh man, just imagine the shit we'd find.
Well, you can be honest without being an asshole, but I want these guys to be honest assholes since they're assholes anyway.
I actually think something like that would actually mend a lot of the fucking, because to be honest, a good majority of a lot of the problems, whether it be on base level relationship shit, or whether we're talking friends or people who are in a relationship together, or just, people in office and shit like that. If people just came out and said what the fuck they actually meant.
Nope.
I think
not these days.
I think it's desperately needed in our society, but I don't think 99% of the people out there could take it.
Well, I mean, like everybody, because
I get it. But you said, you said a purge, but with honesty. What would happen is, as soon as people started being honest, there would be a whole lot of shootings.
Well, that depends, because I mean, a lot of people got shit to hide. Even the ones who act all high and mighty and stuff, they might not like what you have to say, but they got to put their dirt out there too. And most of the time, a lot of the people who get the most upset about some shit that they heard or some reactionary stuff, they got shit to hide that's probably even worse, but they want to play the role, so they get all up in their chest like, oh, how could you say or do something like that? But if you found out what their dirt was, then they wouldn't be saying shit. So I think if it was universal, like everybody it applied to, I don't know, man. I think it'd be pretty interesting to see.
Furry Kitten says Omegon does a weekly roundup of the PMQs. That's the Prime Minister questions. I forget how often they do it, but their Prime Minister actually answers questions, I think, from the public.
Yeah. Like
at least once a week. And they get asked some great questions. I really wish we had that here. And the Speaker of the House, the President Pro Tem of the Senate, and the President should all have to do that once a week. I think that would be awesome. And they'd have to answer questions as they came in order. Nobody getting to filter that shit out. Yeah. I want to see Donald Trump answer whether or not it's okay to tongue butter turtle capes.
A lot of people getting put in jail and let out of jail on Truth Day.
Yeah, no shit. Ragnar, thank you. Dueling and counts as public execution in politics too. Yeah, I think a Truth Day would lead to a lot of death. I really do. Bitch, is that my baby? No. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we are close enough. We're going to go ahead and turn it over to you. It's chat time. Questions, comments, concerns, communications, constipations, whatever you got, throw it into chat for us right now, and we'll do our best to answer it or address it. If it is a question, make sure you put a bunch of question marks in there so we know that's what we're dealing with. The SJWs would say, just give me attention. All I want is attention. Wow. Yeah. You know what? I think SJWs are going to be the end of strip clubs, because there's a lot of them with daddy issues who aren't up on polls where they belong.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Renty Mike, do you think the EU has become as corrupt as the Soviet Union? I think they're probably worse, actually. At least the Soviet Union was honest about it.
Yeah, these guys are operating under the cloak of democracy and freedom,
Yep.
and yet they're implementing a whole bunch of authoritarian bullshit that's going to bite them in the ass.
And here's the truth. You guys might not understand this about the EU, but if this had been voted down today, they could still sneak it through without it being voted on. They've done it with other things.
Yep.
What does physiological mean?
Dealing with the body.
The body, yeah.
I mean, I don't have the technical definition in my brain, but that's the simplest way I know how to say it.
Prospero says PMQs aren't from the public, sadly. Oh, we'll see. In my version, they would be.
Yeah, they should be.
Like I said, I'm still learning about the EU politics, or not EU, UK politics. I don't give a fuck about the EU. They're dirty. Batty says, should I go to University of Michigan? If you have the chance, absolutely. It is a good school, very good school. You're going to run into SJW bullshit, but it is still a very good university.
Yeah, be sure to snap and not clap. Just saying.
Indeed. How can I stop my ravioli from bursting? Don't cook it so long.
Yeah. Gentle.
Stop putting your dick in it.
Oh.
What are you doing with your food, Satsu?
I know. It's a me, Mario. Oh, my penis.
It worked for me.
You could sleep with any fictional character. Who would it be? I'm going to go with Scribbles on this and say Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
Oh, that bitch's ass does not look normal. Everybody talks about how nice it looks. That does not look right.
Yeah, both her and Nicki Minaj's asses are terrifying to me.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to see it from the front. Truth Day, the Democrats, we know Trump didn't do anything with Russia. We just like how mean we just don't like how mean he is. You know, here's the truth. There's a lot of hatred towards Trump, but it would have been no different no matter which Republican won. They were confident it was going to be Hillary, and there's a lot of bad blood there. Does the EU need saved? No, it needs torn apart.
Truth Day, SJWs. I don't actually believe in anything. I just like being upset.
Data says Frank 2020. Yes. I already said I want to. And he says, frankly, Frank is Frank. No, I would just show them a picture of myself and smile, and it would all come. The American Celt says your avatar's nose and mouth look like an Asian potato. Do they have Asian potatoes?
I don't know.
If they grow a potato in Asia, then I assume there are Asian potatoes.
Okay, so did you guys see the senior Google executive breaking down during?
Yes.
Yeah,
I watched very little of it.
I had about 13 minutes. I don't know her name, but one of the female Google executives starts like shedding tears and choking up over the fact that Trump was winning at that point, or had won. I don't know exactly what the timing was.
Harbo says Judge just released it a few minutes ago. Yeah, that's been out actually for a while. Breitbart released it earlier, and the original Shrooms asking our thoughts on it. It's not surprising.
It's as entertaining as most of the videos from that night. I mean, it's not nearly as fun as watching the Young Turks. I actually, while I was working one day, I actually put on the entire broadcast of the Young Turks on election night, and just the slow rolling despair.
Yeah,
that came. I mean, you can find the highlight reel, and that's funny in and of itself. But just watching the evolution of it in real time is something else. This one, I haven't watched the whole thing. It's like an hour plus long or something. But just the opening statements from some of the executives and everything are just so hangdog and depressing and end of the world stuff. It's very familiar now. You know, it's not anything new at this point.
For those of you who don't remember, way back, was it 2006 election? I think it was when the House and Senate numbers came in. The Democrats were positive they were going to take everything back,
right?
And they didn't. And there's great pictures from Air America, the now defunct liberal radio channel.
Oh yeah.
Al Franken just looking like his best friend had died. It's funny to watch when they lose. It really is. I enjoy it so much. And not because for me, that's not about the policy part of it, just how you don't see Republicans acting that way when they lose. I mean, they're not happy about it, but it's not the dread you see on their faces. It's just, wow. Sanguine asks, have you ever seen an ass implant flip?
Yes.
What the hell is that?
There's a video of this. There's a woman who had there's implants you can get for your ass cheeks, basically, and they're essentially shaped more or less like a little dome, and you put them in there, and they're supposed to enhance your butt. And there's this video of this woman who flips one. You can see she turns it to where the flat end is sticking out, and suddenly she's got this round circle sticking out of her butt. And then she rolls it back over to where it's supposed to be. And I'm just thinking, okay, she needs to sue somebody, or here's the other idea: never do that.
That sounds very weird.
It is.
James Colley, thank you. Scribe, here's the best pickup line ever. Do you know the difference between lunch and a BJ? When she says no, ask her if she'd like to have lunch. I'm going to try that on Lady Monkey.
Tell us if it works.
Anarchy asks if I have any other job. No, I'm disabled. This is what I do, y'all. So again, thank you for the super chats, guys. You are keeping me in ramen. Does Article 13 include video games on YouTube? You know, it probably will.
Probably, yeah, no doubt. If there's a publisher that decides that their video game is copyrighted, like the Day One Gary incident thing that happened with Total Biscuit, yeah, they'll totally take it down. I mean, not that they wouldn't already. If there's a company that wants to do that to people, they already have the ability to do that on YouTube as it is. Like Nintendo does it all over the place. So don't even think about it. But this will just give them more tools to do so in Europe and elsewhere.
Well, most companies, a lot of companies now, they understand the value of free publicity and free advertising. They're just like, what the fuck? Like, and any of the companies that would take advantage of that to its fullest extent are probably already doing it. So, you know.
Shiograth keeps asking if period blood would work as anal lube. No blood would work as lube. It coagulates and no.
Once it oxidizes, it's no longer viscous. So no.
Not, unless you're pouring a direct stream on it constantly, no.
Yeah.
Why was Jim Carrey talking about socialism on Late Night with James Corbin? I didn't know he had. I know he did it on Real Time with Bill Maher.
Yeah.
And why is he doing it? Because there's a push towards socialism in the country thanks to the attention Bernie Sanders got. I need some help settling a disagreement with my in real life friends. I ask everybody here, are slippers shoes? They're slippers. They're a kind of shoe, but they're a house shoe.
Yeah, they're a kind of shoe, yeah, I guess.
Dax Orion, pity money for the win, just playing. We just love you. Thank you so much, Dax. I really do appreciate every super chat. I can't tell you how much.
Dax, help me convince Monkey to start playing Monster Hunter consistently.
I have a project, and maybe after that, I suck at that game.
You just started, man. Everybody sucks at Monster Hunter when they first start.
Jean-Pierre says, you mean Cortez ranting? Like, no, I mean Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the one who made it okay to talk openly about socialism.
He came way before Cortez.
Yeah, the press has made it more comfortable to talk about it because they've elevated Cortez. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know.
And it's going to bite the Democrats in the ass because I was talking about this on Bear's stream the other day. Most people like money. Even Democrats like money. There's a reason Jim Carrey's not out there giving away all his money like he wants to give away everyone's money. He's not going to do it until the government makes everybody do it because he likes money. 13 asked, did you hear about the new Arc Dino updates coming? 2 words, tech pteranodons. I'm surprised they went with the pteranodon first, but that's cool.
I'm not. I kind of, if I had to guess on what was going to be next, it was definitely going to be the pteranodons.
I would have thought the trike first. Maybe they didn't go with the trike because it's not on all of the maps. Oh, but neither is the Stego, so
neither is the Pteranodon for that matter. But they don't have any tech flyers,
right?
And I figured that's where they were going next. So,
but yeah, they're gonna keep doing that until November with the release of the new expansion, at least from what they've said. So we should get a new one every month or so. Just 10 more likes and you'll have 100. Guys, let's get us let's see if we can get us to 110. I'm an overachiever.
There is a tech skin for the Quetzal though. Just a skin though.
Oh, okay. Should any of the SJWs in the EU be banned from politics? Not unless you can prove they did something illegal.
Yeah.
Because Sanders almost became the Democratic nominee. Yeah, but he didn't almost become the nominee. The only reason he got it, okay, look, Sanders would have lost if he had won the primary. He'd have lost in the general, and it would have made the Hillary loss look like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason Sanders got as big as he did is because of how much press they got for how dirty Hillary was playing.
Mm-hmm.
If she hadn't have played so dirty, he still would have done okay, but he would not have even come close. Data says turn on the 7 Days to Die server so I can booby trap Satsu's bunker. For the record, guys, in just over 30 minutes, we'll be playing 7 Days to Die over on 2 Cents Plus. If you'd like to join us, jump in our Discords, and you can get the information to join us. For the record, it is only on PC. Sorry, we don't have cross-platform play.
Yeah. About that. Thoughts on Oregon Trail? Dude, I used to fucking love that game. Back when I did play PC games, like I used to play the pinball and fucking Namco Collection and shit like that on PC. I used to always play that Oregon Trail. That shit was fun.
I love Oregon Trail, and I love the idea of it because it was a game that didn't not only did it not hold your hand, I mean, it was randomly cruel.
Yeah.
And there was, I like the idea of a game that sometimes there's just no winning, because it makes it feel better when you do.
Yeah.
And yeah, so RJ says she's going to vote for me in 2020. Thank you. I appreciate that. Data says we're at the fire station new server. No, we're not at the fire station anymore. We moved. Remember that's what the last thing we did.
Yeah, we moved over to the bunker.
Actually, the very last thing we did was Fritz, our new friend Frito, tore down the house right next to the well.
Oh yeah, they were doing that. I didn't know they finished it.
Yep, we had just finished that up, and we cleared the debris. Sorry, somebody had asked a question about what do you guys? This is from Harbos. What do you think of the current Pope? He said not to listen to Satan because Satan wants to expose pedo priests. Is that how he actually put it?
Yeah,
that sounds weird if that's what he actually said.
The current Pope is far more liberal than any we've seen in my lifetime.
And, as compared to popes of the recent past, in relative terms, and I want to underline that phrase, in relative terms, he's been far more willing to discuss the problems in his church than past popes. Now, how effective or how completely he will pursue those things remains to be seen, but at least he's not completely denying or glossing it over. So there's that.
By the way, guys. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, ex-Bubba Hotep. You have crossed the river on a raft. It flipped, and all of your people died of dysentery.
Yeah, dying. When I found out what dysentery was when I was a little kid, I laughed my ass off for like 3 days straight. It's like, what is that? Like, well, it means when you poop a lot. Like, he pooped to death.
You want to know how my mom answered that question? She said, that's when you shit yourself to death.
Yeah. I have shit myself to death.
I was young and I was dying. That shit was so funny.
Hilarious.
Oh man. Oh,
Not in real life, but it's still there.
no, it's a horrible thing to experience in real life. What I was about to say, guys, is when the stream goes up, because it's going to be up a little earlier than when we're actually starting. Make sure you guys share that. If you're going to be on the stream with us and you're in there, make sure you guys share it before it gets started. So that way, because we've been trying our best to get up to 100 viewers. We have yet to do that. We got really close one day, and then we got like 60 likes and about almost 70 viewers. We're trying to get to 100. We're getting super close. So I want to make today the day.
Shio, you are nasty. I love you. Martin says, so with Article 13, does that mean Count Dankula and Sargon is screwed with their channels? It means all of us are.
Yeah. YouTube's not going to be able to distinguish or won't take the effort to try to distinguish content from one country or one region to another. They'll have to just lay the rules out flat, because what happens if somebody tries to use a proxy account set up in America to broadcast European content? It's like they can't do it.
Have you gotten drunk and kissed a dude? No. I got drunk and licked my best friend's head. He's bald.
Yeah, I did it once on a Truth or Dare game or something at some party, but it was as quick a kiss as you could imagine.
That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Remember the horror game Manhunt? The original uncut version was brutal as fuck. Loved it.
I just got it on PC. I beat Manhunt 1 and 2. Those games were the shit.
Harbo says, hell, YouTube is probably celebrating. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
No,
I highly doubt that.
The amount of time and effort and money they're going to have to put into setting up a whole new algorithm and trying to wait and negotiate with each of the individual EU states on how they want their internet to operate. It's like this is not a win for anybody.
No.
At the very least, it's a giant headache for them, and that's at the very least.
Sure. Yeah, if you want to go as mild as possible, that's about as best as you can hope for.
Aniki asks if I can play Getting Over It. I don't know what that is.
Oh, don't do it, monkey.
That game is well, you can look up a playthrough of it. Just look up speed run Getting Over It. You're a guy in like a little cauldron, and you've got a pickaxe, and you have to like climb your way up all these crazy things to get to the moon or something in this outer space. It's one of those sort of like,
it's a rage-inducing game. It's
a frustration game just made for let's play or playthroughs and videos.
Is it a side scroller?
No.
Well, yes, yeah, basically it is. Yeah, it's a side scroller, but it scrolls up more than it scrolls to the side. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I have it. If you guys want me to stream it,
oh god,
you got to buy me some antidepressants first, and then I'll do it. But that does not sound fun at all. That sounds like torture.
RJ asks how bald I am. I am not bald at all. I have a beautiful head of hair. Thank you.
No.
My little brother's been has been bald since he was 19.
Drunk and bald, huh? That's an interesting kind of aphasia right there.
Worst thing you've done drunk. That's where that came from. This is from X Bubba Hotep. Mine was pissing on a friend. Wow. I haven't done anything bad drunk. The worst thing I've done drunk is throw up.
The worst thing I've done drunk is I slept with my friend's crush. But that's not to say that the alcohol was the inducer of that or the excuser of that. It just happened to be the fact that I was drunk while I was doing it. But yeah, that's the worst. And I count it as one of the worst things I've ever done, period. So
I remember everything I do drunk. I've gotten really fucked up, but I still remember everything I do. I still have control of my faculties and everything. I just laugh and fall down.
Well, no, you see, now if you just get the laughing part right, you could do that all day on the stairs.
Indeed. Sanguine, thank you. He falls down mountains like you do stairs.
Wow.
That game,
Good timing.
I'm supposing. How much Google's been fined over the years? Why do you think they don't just pull out, besides the lower taxes from having a headquarters in Ireland? That's probably part of it, a big part of it.
We were talking about the benefits of just most of these companies just restricting or cutting off the EU from their services to avoid the headache. They probably won't do that because that'll burn bridges they'll never be able to rebuild again. But I wish they would, or I wish at least that they would threaten to.
Strongest drink you've ever had? Oh, God, I don't know. I've done shots of so many shit. There's so much shit that people have just put in front of me, and I couldn't tell you.
I was given something called a brain aneurysm one time. I don't remember exactly the mixture of this. Maybe you can find it online if you look it up. But it was something to the effect of vodka and what was it? It was like Bailey's or something. Anyway, what happened was you put liquor number 1 in there, and then you put grenadine inside that, and the grenadine ended up beating, turning into little like blobs. And those are supposedly the blood cells. And then you put the Baileys on top of that. And the way the Baileys operates is that it kind of floats at the top, but this little stem curl thing comes down in the middle. And that's the brain stem. So you've got these floating red beads around a brain stem. And this is supposed to be a shot. You're supposed to shoot this. And I didn't know what the hell it was. It looked a hell of a lot bigger than a shot should be. But for lack of a better phrase, I gave it a shot and I shot it. And it felt like my clavicle wanted to jump out of my chest, and it burned so bad I thought somebody had stabbed me. I don't know what happened, but it was awful. It was the worst experience that ever happened in drinking a drink.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Whiskey or bourbon? Yes.
Neither.
Whiskey. If between the two, I mean, it's kind of a close call, I guess, but probably whiskey.
Remember the most expensive meal you ever had? It was probably a Thanksgiving meal.
I had what was it? I was trying to impress a girl. I forget which one at this point, but I took her to a really expensive restaurant, and I had like this ridiculously amazing lobster tail. And just all the fixing and everything. I think it was either for my birthday or hers or something. But either way, it was. I think the total bill came out to be something like $170 for the two of us or something. It was ridiculous. I was stupid. Is what I was.
I actually went to a 5-star restaurant for truckers.
What?
Yeah, it blew my, because they were telling me about this place, and I'm just like, they're like, we should go. And the girl I was with at the time was like, I really want to check this place out. People gave it good reviews. And basically it is a super swanky ass restaurant. Like there's like fountains in there and fog coming out of the fountains, and everybody in there is in a tuxedo or dressed like super nice, but it's at a truck stop. and there's nothing but scruffy ass dirty bikers in there, like, eating. And the atmosphere is it's a 5-star restaurant. Everything is expensive as fuck. But I got some ribs or whatever, and they brought them over to the table. And these fucking ribs, like, it was so funny because the lady had brought it over, and she was like, now there's this cool trick you can do with these if you have some patience. She was like, just wait like 2 minutes. We're going to grab her food and bring it back, and I'll show you. So she came back over, and she took the fork, and she pressed it down over the top of the ribs, and the bones just slid out of the sides. And I was like, oh my God.
We got friends here that the ribs are like that. It's, you
go
to pick them up, and the shit falls off the bone. You end up having to eat it with your fingers. It's great.
I love that shit. Oh my God. It was so fucking good. I was like, wow, that was worth it. And then she ordered what is it? Calamari. And she only had like Red Lobster calamari. Like she had never had, not Red Lobster, like Olive Garden calamari or whatever. She had never had actual calamari. They took the top off of it, and it looked like fried tarantulas. She literally cried. Like she literally just broke out in tears because it scared the shit out of her. And the lady freaked out and was like, oh my God, what happened? And I was like, please take this away. Like bring her something else, because it scared the shit out of her.
Let's see. Next movies you should have watched. We're hoping to do Don Juan DeMarco. I am not sure when. I know I can't do it this weekend. I'm hopefully the following. Let's see. Have you ever played pool, and were you any good at it? Yeah, we used to have a pool table.
Yeah, I had a pool table for a while.
Quite good at it, and actually played by the rules where you have to call your shots and everything. And yeah,
I was pretty good by the rules. What?
Yeah, I was pretty damn good at pool for a while. I haven't played in a while though.
Me neither. It's been years. But yeah, me and a friend used to just sit up all night playing pool.
Yes.
Red Lobster got caught taking the live lobsters that you picked. out from the tank. What? Aren't they supposed to do that?
I must have missed something.
I don't know.
I thought that was the point.
We got 6 minutes, guys. I know I missed a lot of questions here. Scribe Light, do you have a ball gag?
Yes.
Dax Orion asks, would you agree to the approval of free-range corpse rape if it meant that one day a year up to $10,000 in everyone's debt got erased?
Would you call that movie series The Splurge? What the fuck?
Oh my god! I am more interested in how you came up with that fucking question.
Yeah, like that's an interesting idea. You should write a proposal to your congressman on that one. What?
You should write a proposal to Netflix on that one. You can
There
get that
you go.
produced.
Yeah, they do a parody series called The Splurge.
You know what? If as long as the people who were being corpse raped agreed to be, I would have no problem with that, I guess.
Yeah, if you left those instructions in your living will, there you go. That's all you need.
Have you guys seen the trailer to that cringy ass show that's supposed to be coming out called Assassination Nation or some shit like that?
No,
I have not.
I've been seeing them on YouTube. Like every now and then I'll get a commercial for it, and it's this cringy ass show that's like, it looks like it's specifically just talking about like social issues, and it's like as the show's going through, they're playing like the American music, and there's like it's like sexism, racism, homophobia, blah blah blah, and like it's these edgy kids, and they're like arguing with adults and teachers and yelling at them about all this stuff or whatever, and it's like it's supposed to be like a show. I can't remember what it's on though, but I was just like, what the fuck is this?
No, I've never.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Ex Bubba Hotip says, I love living a mile away from a pool hall. They have about 20 pool tables. There used to be one here, and the only thing I really remember about it was one day we were going in there, and there's a guy in a car, and he goes, hey, come here. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I'll go over there, I'm like, what's up? And he goes, do you have a lighter? I'm like, oh, sure. I pull out my lighter, and I hand it to him, and the motherfucker pulled out a pipe. And I'm like, you know what? Keep it. And I just walked into the pool hall. Yeah. Anyone have a favorite medieval torture device? No, can't say that I do.
Ball gag.
There you go.
No.
Favorite brand of alcohol? Cuervo. I love me some Cuervo.
I like what? Damn, why did I just forget? God damn it. I like vodka, but I'm trying to remember the brand that I buy all the time. God damn it.
Scribbles.
What was the question again?
Absolute.
Favorite brand.
That's what it is.
Oh, Absolute. Okay. Favorite brand of alcohol.
Favorite brand of alcohol. I guess just based on frequency of purchase, probably Jack Daniels.
Jean-Pierre asked, was it a crack pipe or a corncob pipe? It was a bowl. It wasn't either of those. So it's bourbon whiskey and Scotch whiskey. Is that what you mean? Oh, you guys are talking about, yeah, because bourbon is a whiskey. And yeah,
Yes.
those are types of whiskey.
Yeah, well, that's when I was asked like whiskey or bourbon. I'm like, well, they're kind of the same thing. I'm not saying they're the same thing for anybody who wants to get too technical, but
you can
Isn't
have
Scotch only drunken by cougar whores.
what?
what?
The fuck? I don't even know where that came
I have
from.
missed something. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like anytime I've ever seen somebody drinking scotch, it was an old cougar and she was a whore.
Oh no, Scotch used to be the drink of gangsters, man.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can have whiskey without it being bourbon, but if you're drinking bourbon, you are drinking whiskey technically.
Right.
If you were, this is specifically to you, Scribe, if you were able to interview George Lucas tomorrow, what would you ask him?
Well, here's the other caveat. Would I be guaranteed a truthful answer out of him? If that were the case, then I'd ask him, how much of Star Wars was you and how much of it was your editors?
You talking about the original or
the original? Yeah, the original movie, because I mean, I think it's pretty well known that at this stage of the game, that movie was made in the editing room versus what George Lucas had originally done. But I would just like him to put me on the record as to how much of the success of how that all started was up to the editors. Because if anything has been shown from the prequels onward, George Lucas was a fluke director in American Graffiti and elsewise. And he just lucked out with people who knew better than he did how to construct a story with the footage he'd shot for Star Wars. And then he did the wise thing and let other people direct all the other films until he decided to get into his head that he's going to do the other three. And man, that fucked up.
And on that note, guys, we're going to bring this one to a close. But I do want to point out several people said that they would ask George Lucas why.
Money.
Chat, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. As you do every night, you guys are amazing. Thank you for the super chats. My ramen stocks, thank you for that as well. It is amazing that you guys come every night and you're so interactive. You guys are awesome, best audience in the world, and I'll fight anyone who says it differently. I'll get my ass kicked, but I'll still try. Scribe, Satsu, thanks for joining me as always. Everyone, your lives make us sad. Don't forget to check us out over on 2 Cents Plus, playing 7 Days to Die, where you can join us if you'd like. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Oops, that's what she said.
We're good at making people come.
I know I am.
How many times are you guys going to fall for this?
For as many times as you do it.
You're gonna fall down the stairs.
Oh,
Fuck you. Bye, guys.